All right, everybody. Hello, welcome to another Brisco Big Ace show. It's been a little bit, so we're glad to be back. Wes is here, and of course, we have a very special guest. We welcome the Red Velvett.
Hey.
Yeah, how's it going?
Always serving it up.
That's right. So, how are you guys doing? Wes, we didn't get a chance to do a show last week. I was a little out of commission with one of my hands and was feeling a little low. So we're back now.
Well, let's talk about your hand surgery. How did that go, and how's that feeling?
It's feeling better. I don't know if you guys can even see. If I get like really close, you can see the little.
Oh yeah, it's probably like two. Did you even get a stitch?
No.
It doesn't even look like a stitch. It looks like a punctured one.
Yeah, basically just a little cut, and then they put the little machine in, and it's all done on ultrasound. So like, they don't have to like tear my hand open or anything anymore. It was like 20 minutes. I got to watch it on the screen in front of me and poking around inside my hand. It was pretty interesting, actually. It was kind of cool. I remember we talked about it, and you were freaking out because you were like, I would not be able to watch that happen. I did look as they had the tool inside my hand.
Oh, that's
man.
It wasn't like 3 seconds I had to turn around then.
But now what would you say your percentage of your hand is now?
80, 90. So here's what's weird is these two fingers are still the sore ones, and like right in here still sore. The rest of the hand's getting back to normal, and right around the wound still a little sore. So about a week and a half, I'm at that. I figure a few more days, I'll be back to top notch. The strength is going to take the longest thing because of the nerves that they had to touch and stuff. So that'll be
that's what I was thinking, was like learning how to like. But it seems like you got pretty much all control of your hand, and it seems like it's.
Yeah, man. So you know what I did do though, because I'm stubborn. I'm a guy, I guess. So they were like, exactly. Yeah, you'll know. When I asked how long I should be out of work, because I'm like, I'm right-handed first of all, and I type a lot. That's what I do. And so I was like, how long do I need to take out? And she's like, I'd take through like Wednesday off, go back on Thursday. And I was like, cool. So I took Monday off and went back on Tuesday. And about 20 minutes in, I had to tell my boss, like, I'm gonna stop working, and then had to take through Thursday off. So lesson learned.
Oh, what's up, Great?
What's up?
Yeah, it's our buddy Great.
That's right. Yeah, so lesson learned. I'm not as strong as I thought I was. I'm not a tough guy at all.
Oh, what up, Billy?
Yeah. Oh, you guys are coming tomorrow? That's awesome.
Yeah, big show for you guys tomorrow. That's exciting. It's going to be some good stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, man. So that was what was going on with me, though. So like I was kind of just out of it as far as just couldn't do much. And it was my right hand. So that was the worst part. I had to figure out how to open the Tylenol bottle that night without using it. Yeah, really, I was like trying to use my cat.
That'd be me, literally.
Yeah. It was horrible. I got in it and we were good. So yeah, it just took a little bit.
Push it into your chest and you turn it.
Really?
Yep.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm too fat for that. I'm sensitive. It would hurt.
But yeah, so I went down and I went to the Keys.
Yeah.
And we end up getting skunked with the worst weather physically possible. Did not get to fish one single time. The only thing I did get to do is I did get to swim with a eel.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Why? Yeah, why do you do these things?
It's my first time swimming with an eel, and this eel was probably 4 foot. Yeah, it was the sketchiest thing I've ever seen. Like I was more scared of that than a shark, kind of. But I stood my distance and I was watching it eat, and I kind of like. It was sketchy. It was not the cool. Like it was probably one of the scariest things I've done.
Dude, I don't understand. I mean, I get it. You're Florida. I'm Minnesota. So when I hear this, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Seriously.
Things hurt you.
Well, I saw it when I was snorkeling and I saw the eel and I was like, man, this is going to be some good GoPro footage. So I just swam down deep with the eel and I just like kind of just held my breath and just watched them and kind of stayed away. And I was like, hopefully he doesn't attack me.
Please don't have any animals attack you for the YouTube. Please don't.
Don't be that guy.
Right? Don't be that dude.
we'll get some likes finally and some subscribers.
Oh my god.
I'm cool if we don't, if it means
Right? Yeah.
hurt. Like, I don't want that. So wait, now, Ms. Red Velvet, are you from the Florida area originally?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. So from the 305. Now he's trying to make me an Orlando girl, but my heart will always be with Miami. It's like, I think because I've been there since I was little, I'm used to like, everyone's like, oh, it's the best place for a tourist and stuff like that. But to me, it's home. Like all my memories are there. And like, I guess when I was in my 20s, it was the best because I would, I think at 18, I started traveling with this dance company. So I stayed with them a while. So when I turned like 20, 21, and I could finally go to the clubs with them, the clubs would close at 2. And I was like, what is this? Like, you know, I was in Miami when I used to go out to the clubs, I would get ready at like 11.
Right.
That's how, you know, so.
Well, you didn't make sense. So you're saying the clubs in Orlando shut down early at 2 compared to the clubs in
Not Orlando,
Miami.
and everywhere.
No, Miami's like 3 or 4 in the morning.
No, there's certain places like we have like 24-hour places, and then there's always places like, for example, like if you come out with a group of friends and like they're running a little late, you can take them to, we have Club 11, which is like, I guess for the guys, it's like the strip club, and then it's a 24-hour club. So it's like, you can always go out. No, like, because if I come into town to, not bashing on any other place, but like I've gone to other places and like my flight is delayed or something like that. And then I want to go out somewhere and then they're like, oh, well, everything shuts down.
But that's what I'm saying. Miami stays open later.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, but you were making it kind of seem like it didn't.
No, he's always trying to question me. It does. That's what I like about it, that it runs later. Because me and my sister, like, we love to take our time to get ready. So I don't always want to go out at like 8, you know, because something closes early. So.
And she doesn't even need to get that up. She's already beautiful.
Thanks. But
oh, look at, you're such a good guy.
But also, didn't you live in Colombia for a little bit?
No, I spent the summer 2012. My dad went back to Colombia because he used to be a boxer, so he got Parkinson and Alzheimer's. Well,
first let's talk about your dad. He was also on the Olympic team.
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard for me to like state everything because I say lucky for me, but unlucky for me. He literally had his last match a couple days after I was born. So I never, That's
kind of like how my dad was.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, other than like his Stooges stuff, but that didn't really count.
Yeah.
Like my dad, like when I was born, like fully retired from actually like
wrestling,
serious performing.
Yeah, so I never got to watch him because I was months old. I watched him. I went with him to the gym all the time for him to train boxers, which at the time I was little, so I thought it was so boring. Like, you know, and all I can hear is that little bell that starts over again, like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Like, I hated it. He knew that like if he wanted me to go to the gym with him, he had to give me change so I can be at the vending machine. Because if I didn't have a snack, I was not going to be able to sit through the whole thing. But he retired a couple days, maybe weeks after I was born. I never got to see him. And at the time, like you don't have like YouTube and stuff like that. So there's like one clip you find of him on YouTube and he like knocks the guy out. I'm like, maybe.
That's like the same with my uncle when he won the national championships. It was so long ago that there really wasn't.
There's not. Unless there was somebody there physically like taping it or something. I never had anything to take with me to show like my kids, maybe that YouTube clip.
But you got a lot of pictures.
I have pictures with my dad. I never have pictures of my dad at a boxing show or like I was too little to have a camera phone to take pictures of him in like the gym. That's all I remember. And as years go by, and it's natural, you're going to forget those things. I'll see you tomorrow.
Big Nick's coming out tomorrow night for the week.
Thanks.
So, isn't it crazy though? Like how in like a 10 or 15 year span, it went from like that to now everything is just cameras, phones, internet, access. It's
I think it's like good and bad because I think back then for them, they really had, how do I say, like they really savored in the moment. You know, I think a lot of people now get their credibility but some people are great at their social media, like not knocking them on that, but like some people are almost too good with their social media. So it's almost like you don't get the actual product when you meet them, you know? So it's like, oh, I'm following your Instagram, you do this, you do that. And then you actually meet them and you're like, oh, you're not that good.
Well, that's what we try to do on the show with our guests, is actually trying to get to know them and get to figure out what they're all about, because every podcast seems to always be like the same, where it's always the same questions and always the same stuff. So, you know, that's something that we're trying to do differently. But
I like that you said that though, Red Velvet, about because you're right. It almost feels like emotion's not attached anymore. Like back, you know, in the 80s, or just back before this age of technology.
Yeah.
You were really more in the moment.
Yeah.
You know? Like those memories you have of being a kid, and it's like, man, you just appreciated everything so much more.
Totally. Wes is always getting on me now because I'm always on my phone. But like growing up, I wasn't fortunate. I got my first cell phone. I think I was like an 8th grader in high school. Like not 8th grader in high school, an 8th grader in middle school. And like my mom was not about that. She's super old school. So like I was always outside. I remember playing, like I made really good friends with like, I had my cousins around, my neighbors. I used to know everybody because I lived in like a building. So I knew everybody and everybody knew me and my sister. So they always take care of us. But we were always like in the pool, everything. And then I just see now like kids don't grow up like that. Even my niece, it's unfortunate now with COVID. So she just turned 2. So there's not much she could do outside right now. But like, it's sad that like, you know, she'll never go to Toys R Us, you know, you know, and like how big they are on like TV and everything like that.
Do you think that's something that's kind of crazy right now? Is that like, do you think kids right now are getting robbed of their childhood
Absolutely.
because of COVID?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Because I kind of feel like kids are kind of getting robbed of their childhood, because they're missing out on school, they're missing out on interactions, they're missing out on friends, and everyone's don't go outside, don't do this, don't do that. So it's like
it's 50-50 because they're trapped inside, but like I think the saddest part always been to me if you don't have a sibling. Like I always grew up with, like I have brothers from my dad's side in Colombia and everything, but it was always like every single moment it was like me and my sister plus everyone else. Like, so it also, if like you're an only child and you're trapped inside for COVID, like, and your parents are either working remote or, you know, it's so sad because they're really getting robbed because now you just don't even have your friends from school to go to their house or stuff like that. So it's a tough time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not a good time.
Wes, what were you going to ask before I had jumped in there before you were going to say something with that question or that statement? You remember?
To be honest with you,
probably
no.
not.
I wouldn't either. Don't worry about it.
But I would like to get your thoughts of what do you think about the AEW Women's Tournament that's about to happen?
That was such a big leap. That was such a big.
We go.
I guess is this how it is? It just ran.
I love it. I love it. I love that you actually because it is like that sometimes. So I love when people can acknowledge that happens with us sometimes. So I love. Thank you for saying.
I don't care. I'm good with it not being a script. It's just he was so spontaneous about it. Like, go, and then it's like, okay, we went from like a downer talking about COVID to AEW. All right.
See, that's what we do. It's like a wrestling match.
Keep you on your toes.
Roller coaster. I'm really excited about it. According to Dynamite yesterday, they set out the rules, and from what I believe, it's going to be held strictly on YouTube. I've seen fans on Twitter go on about like how they want the finals to be and maybe All Out, their pay-per-view. So that'll be great too. I'm really excited about it. I've been working with them personally. The competitors are set to be picked at a random draw. So all I can do is manifest that my name is in that draw.
And get everybody on Twitter.
And get everybody to start a riot on Twitter to put me on. Like, you know, so if they know what they're talking about, you know.
Have they announced how many women are actually going to be involved in the tournament?
Yes, and the tournament is 16 women, 8 teams. they did mention yesterday that everyone was going into the tournament thinking that, because obviously the tournament was put on the spot because of Brandy and Allie being a tag team and being 4-0, that was how it was going to go. But they like totally switched it up on them, and they're all have to draw separately. So if they do not draw the same color, they will not be a team. They could be separated. So for those
there could be some drama.
Not even drama, just they're like,
yeah, but if they're a tag and they end up facing each other, they're
that could be that's gonna be good if they're on separate teams, of course. And then the cool part is like so they do random drawings, and then yesterday on Dynamite was like the first draw that they did, and it was Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero, who's her manager.
How did they draw? What was
they draw from like she picked something up, and it's like by color. So she picked the color purple. And then Dasha let her know that someone had already picked the color purple. And then, boom, they revealed that it was Ariane, one half of the Funkadactyls.
Right.
So they're going to be a team now.
What happens if someone picks a red one?
I think ideally, whoever picks the first red color, come on, like, they need to let me pick the second red draw. Mm-hmm. Like, let's be real. I'll be tagged with anybody. I don't care. So I'm just ready. I'm excited. Either way it goes, on it or not on it, I'm going to be watching, and I'm very proud of all the women. I've been, had the chance to be with them and get in the ring with them, and the locker room is by far one of the best overall that I've experienced.
That's something I wanted to ask you. How, when your first experience going into the AEW locker room, how was it? Like,
it was the best. I was nervous. I'm human. I'm not gonna be like I was a nervous wreck the night before when I got there, like, to Jacksonville maybe at like 2 a.m. right before. So I was nervous that whole time. I was nervous when you go get tested for COVID, everything. I just really try to stay like positive. I'm letting everyone in on my secret. The morning from the night before to the morning up until that moment, the whole time I got ready and did my makeup and everything, I played positive affirmations on YouTube because that's just the mindset I needed to be on. It was my biggest thing I was going to. I'd never done extra work for.
See, that would be crazy, like having that amount of pressure of not only having your first appearance at AEW, but having to deal with COVID, having to deal with all these things.
Yeah, so that's
crazy. Like I couldn't even imagine, because I know how nervous I was. I could just only imagine how nervous you were, because there were so many thoughts and things going on.
It was a lot going on. I was like, you always think like, what if you go do the testing and you bump somebody right before, or you bump somebody 2 days before and never had symptoms, and you get all the way over there and they deny you. Thankfully, that's not what happened when I got there. But like, as soon as I got there, like, they were just so helpful. Like, first, even just in the hotel, I walked in and like Matt Hardy was there, the Young Bucks, and they were just so sweet and welcoming. Of course, when you go get tested for COVID, they're not like, hey, they all just waved, because you never know. So yes, Velvet and Brandy dream team. I so call that. That would be great. But then I got to the stadium and it was like, it's freaking huge. So I got there and like I was like, hey, where do I need to go? The first person I bumped into was the ref, Aubrey. She was so sweet. Like, walk this way, blah blah. I got to the locker room and the girls were just so helpful. Like, is it your first time here as an extra, this and that? And they just like took me under their wing. And from that moment on, it was like, you're part of the family. It doesn't, like, when you're there, you're not an extra, like, you're part of the family. And I think that was what stuck out to me, like, why I want to be there with them full time, because you don't go and like, oh, you're in the same locker room with all the women, all the ones that are signed. They were all equal. So it was great.
And that's what I was interested about, is because it's good to hear you say that, because the other thing, COVID, all the stuff that's happening in the world today, but it kind of gets forgotten right now because of those things, that AEW is still a baby. This is a company that's making big waves and competing with the company that's been around forever. Yeah. And like they're getting their footing now from when it started to now. I mean, it's such leaps and bounds they've made, and that's what's been really exciting too. So it's cool to hear you say that and see that backstage setting, like it's a team.
Everybody, literally, it's everybody. I don't think I walked past one person that like didn't acknowledge your presence. Even like there's like a moment from like when you leave the stadium where the ring is and you go into the back where all the locker rooms are. Of course, it's like where the Jacksonville Jaguars are, so it's the real stadium. So as you're walking back there, even the people who work for the stadium that have nothing to do with AEW, like say hello, the merch people. So it's just it was a great environment, and I think they make it that way because a lot of people have came from other places, and
that's what I was just gonna say. I was gonna say, like, coming from, you know, my background, WWE and TNA, there was a lot of walking on eggshells.
Yeah,
making sure that if you didn't say hi to the right person, you would get in trouble for it, and you would never know who it could be. So you would always be walking on eggshells. You would always be like, "Oh my god, I can't," you know, and that's cool to feel like. It seems like
that was the best part,
that you don't have.
You don't have that. Everyone, even like, you know, I was getting my makeup done. Brandy was there getting her makeup done. You know, she was having regular conversations with me. The makeup artist it's not like she's the CBO and that like she does not put herself up here. Like super humble, had regular conversations with me and all the other girls, and we were extras, you know. And she was great. Everybody was great. That was the biggest thing I can take away is that they know what it's like to have that pressure, and they're very big on making AEW a place that's free from that environment. And another big thing is like the week that everything was going on with Speaking Out, you know, we had Dustin and Kenny Omega and a couple others are in charge of the women. So they like sat down and had a heart to heart with us about like if anything was going on or if there was anyone there that was making us feel a certain way, like we were open to talk about it. And that like just to have them sit down with all of us women about that was like very memorable, because you go to another promotion and they're like, yeah, we see what's going on Twitter. Well, good luck, you know. And they were like they did all the right measures to like, if something was going on, they wanted to make sure that we could safely confide in them and let them know.
So, right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. My other question for you is, how was the ring? What did the ring feel like? Like how are the ropes? How was the canvas? These are things that I kind of want to know. Like I don't know. Like
yeah. That's
like one of the things. Like, how did you feel the ring was?
The ring was big. I think it didn't all sink in until like I was there, and then like we get our workouts in the morning and stuff. So I was able to bump around and hit the ropes and everything right before it's time to tape. So that was great. But it didn't all hit me until I went through the tunnel for the tag match. So it's like, and I was like, you know me, it was my first time there. So I asked around and stuff like that. And then they're like, yeah, you know, you have your name on the, what is it called? The Titantron?
Big screens.
I was freaking out.
So,
I was taking pictures.
I was like, you know, TV. I didn't know, but they're like, yeah, you know, you guys are going to go out separate. You have your own music, this and that. And I was like, you know, I even sat in the makeup chair. So it's like, I brought my makeup, like I've danced for years. So I like to be out of people's hairs. And like, I brought my makeup, and then like the makeup artist budges in and she's like, oh, I need Red Velvett. Like, all right, come to makeup. And I'm like, oh, cool. I get my makeup done. That was great. You know, so it's like, it was so equal, but it wasn't until like I went through the little tunnel. The tunnel, I say, reminds me of like when you're about to shoot off from the Hulk ride. That's how like the tunnel looks like. And like, I just took a deep breath, and it's like, there's not a crowd, but you still have like everyone who's there. And like, even, the rest of the talent, they sit ringside and stuff. So it was still like, I walked out and I was like, oh man, can you just imagine this? Like the one thing I could ask for would be like, to experience what I experienced, like when it's back to normal.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine how great that would feel. But the ring was like, it was normal. I think I was kind of nervous, but once I got in there and started doing drills, that's like where I feel the most at home, you know? So I was already like, all right, cool. I got in there, ran the ropes. I'm like, all right, I got this. Like,
you came out looking fierce, by the way. Like,
that
close up on you guys when you came out. Like, I was like, they look like stars. Like, she looks like a star right now.
Thank you.
Like,
yeah, they're the
killing it. You really were. I was like, damn. Like, I was like, this is someone they can ride on here.
Heck yeah. I'm the missing ingredient to the women's division, people. Yeah. Let's go. Like,
especially now, because I feel like they're finally found their footing with the women's division. So, like, Let's make it happen. Big Malice is on with us tonight.
Yeah, Malice.
What's up, brother? Hell yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that. How has the dancing, because I've seen that you've had a career in dance before wrestling. How has that like kind of helped you segue into wrestling? Is there parallels?
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
let me hear about
I think I always say that I wouldn't be the wrestler I am today if I didn't dance. So going into like, I did years of dance. So the discipline was already there to like go in the ring and do something new. The discipline of working out, the discipline of like, you have to trust people. So, I'm always the tiniest one in dance. So I love to partner. I started partnering very early on. So like doing tosses and stuff. And I was a cheerleader. So like doing those type of things, I wasn't afraid when I got into wrestling, as far as like some people that don't do anything like that aren't as aware with their body like I was. So it's scared to maybe try certain moves and stuff like that. I came into wrestling very fearless. Like I would try some things that like my trainer's like, you're not afraid, like, and I'm like, no, like, I've gotten tossed around cheerleading, like what's the worst that can happen?
See, that's sketchy. Hurt. Like when like I used to watch the cheerleaders, and when they would pick up the girls and throw them, there was no mats underneath.
No,
like,
there isn't.
If you would have fell on the grass, that would have like hurt.
I had a friend who like, I don't know, I till this day don't know if like they planned that, the people who stunted her. So they stunted her and
what
like
does that mean? You gotta explain.
Stunting is like when you put your hands together and like you put somebody up in the air. So they were so they were stunting her. I feel like it was a setup because it was like good guys. It wasn't just guys, it was people on the team, but they like tossed her and they all moved out of the way. She just hit the floor. And literally it was like not a big cheerleading show. It was a show for the kids that were failing to encourage them. And it was like the worst show. Like, oh my God. And I thought like I'm in like being stunted on the other side like this. And I just look over and she's like on the floor. I thought she was dead. And I was like, they had to have planned that. There's no way, like, it wasn't like they tossed her and she backflipped and maybe they couldn't catch her. It was literally just the cradle. Like, cradle and they just let her go.
I've kind of had that with wrestlers where you go off the top rope and all of a sudden they kind of scatter. You're like, hey, wait a second. You guys are supposed to catch.
I mean, it's middle school. It was so sad. It was like if they were like maliciously doing that, like thank God she didn't get concussed or anything.
I bet she got concussed.
She probably got concussed. I didn't know about anything about concussions at those times.
Who does in middle school?
But dancing has helped me a lot. It's helped me. The biggest thing it's helped me with is like less fear in the ring to try new things. It worked out great for like my first match and every other match, how I handle nerves, because I love people. So I think someone who's never been so up close with people, like an audience to watch you or whatever, can have stage fright and it shows in your face. And I love that. Like even when the lights came on in stage in the ring, like I always said, and like I was always taught, if you're the best or great, you will be put in the back, and no matter where you are, you get noticed. I know like girls used to fight about like being front and center for their parents to see them. I was like, I can be all the way in the back and like, trust me, you'll notice that I'm there. So I was never afraid of people, like stage fright or nothing like that. Flexibility comes out. It's a huge advantage.
Yeah, I would figure that and like balance.
Oh yeah. Definitely. And knowledge of my body. I'm very in tune with my body as far as like, if something's not right in my body, it's like, I know 100% is not right because I just feel everything. And it also changes the way I look at certain moves, how I look at how clean I can do them to avoid injury and another person's injury. And I think that's just because of the eye of like dancing and how your lines and your feet and stuff. So I think he's like low-key trying to grab my hand under the table. So I'm like, what is he doing?
You're doing too much hand motion.
Oh, really? Is that scaring you?
Yeah.
Why? I talk with my hands a lot.
That's fine. I think it's great. I'm waiting for the accidental whack.
Oh, I think that's what he's afraid of.
That'd be hilarious. Oh, that would make great YouTube. Not you getting eaten by a shark.
Right, okay. First of all, he said he's not gonna whack me. By accident, she was being a little rambunctious, and she ended up whacking me square in The nuts.
That was yesterday, and we were like, we were watching something on TV. So he was laying out on the, not watching TV, laid out on the floor. I don't know how he ended up laying on the floor. So I'm like, all right, so if
stretching.
Yeah, so I said if you were, I don't know if I said if you were dead or if you were trying to sandbag me, how can I properly pick you up without getting hurt?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's how we started.
We were talking about how wrestlers would sandbag,
which is like dead weight people sometimes. Mm-hmm. So he was on the floor. So I'm like, all right, how would I pick you up? And like, I don't know, if you're like unconscious somewhere, like how do I pick you up for safety? So I went in to pick him up, and then I ended up on top of him. So I really thought I was smacking him in the butt. And then I just went like wham, and then he just turned over and he's like, oh, and then I guess I hit the boys.
Oh, that's great. That's hilarious. It was an accident.
It was an accident. He says, I really thought I came in light, like, woo, and you know,
he says she came in light.
I thought it came in light.
No, did it not make a lot? Did it not make a?
No, I don't think so.
Well, this raises an interesting question that I'd like to ask you both, and that is, what is it? Because you see this a lot in this business, but what is it like when it's two wrestlers dating?
Perfect. This is my favorite story. We literally talked about it today. I never let him forget the day he met me. Well, not the day he met me, but I think it was very unique the way we got together because I went to a show. It was Atomic, and he was my agent for my match. And I had seen him prior times before, but I thought he was a jerk. Like literally, like he's all tattooed, and like I met him at like one show, and he says we had wings after, like the group that was there. I don't remember. But like
I'll tell you what, he is intimidating. The first time I ever met you and I saw you the first time in the ring, I was like, this dude, if I say the wrong thing, is going to kill.
Yeah, and like at the first time I met him, he still had like the ponytails. I'm like, oh, he like knows he looks good. Like, oh, totally not paying attention to him. So I went on to the second show, and I was putting my stuff on the merch table. He just was there, but he's kind of scary to look at, so you just kind of say hello or whatever. I never was like, oh my god, like I thought he was attractive, but it wasn't like ever my goal to
she
holler.
Says also I was listening too much during my speech for a time.
Yeah, so first he makes fun first he did the speech. So no, I think first I was sitting down like discussing things with my opponent, and he came and he was sitting like this on like a chair, and he's like,
chilling.
You might want to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, watch out. Like he even took the fact that he even took interest in like a woman's match. It wasn't like he took interest because he was like low key observing and trying to holler. He was genuine about like transitions and everything. And I was like, oh, that's really sweet of him. That was it. I didn't like think anything of it. And then he got in the ring and they have him do like the speech for the locker room. And he starts like, he says that I speak with my hands. And he was like, so, if you're going to do this and yeah. And I'm like, okay, how can I ever take him seriously? So then it was like a side that I saw that he wasn't that mean. So he was the agent of our match. And then that was it. We finished the match. We had to come back and report to him.
Did I not go out there and watch the match? And
he got insulted. Low key told me he got insulted because I asked him to film our match. And he's like, I was like, do you know who I am? Like, because I'm this, like, in his eyes, this green girl who's just like, here. I literally was like, film the match. Like, because I was like, he's the agent. Like, I didn't think he would be like offended that I asked him to film the match. So he films the match, and then we go back and like we had to report to him for him to talk to us about it and everything. And he was respectful about it. I remember like I couldn't take him seriously. He was wearing like Donald Duck socks, like long socks. So that caught my attention. And then after I had to drive, I was living in Miami.
Yeah, but what about the critiques? Was I not?
Yeah, he was very professional. I never once, like, I'm pretty good at catching hints. There was never a hint that he was trying to he was just by coincidence the agent. It wasn't like he set out to like be the agent to try to get my number and nothing like that. It was literally very, very professional.
That's why she even said, she goes, I can't believe you watched the match. Like I went out and sat down and actually like I do that with every match of the agent. I actually pay attention because
I say it because that's not my encounter with wrestlers sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
I was very grateful how professional he was. So I was like, oh, cool. Like the first one that's not trying to holler. Okay, great. Like he's taking me seriously. So then after the show, I remember everyone was getting on me on that show because I was like first or second match, and I had to drive back to Miami. So everyone's like, you gotta leave. You're not gonna make it. Get out of here. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Out of respect, like I want to stay towards the end for the end of the show. It's fine. Like I'll drink a Red Bull. But everyone was like, they're like family. So they're like, no, you need to go. You have a 3.5 hour drive. And I'm like, I'm fine. So towards the end of the show, he says to me, like, oh, do you want to grab something to eat before you get on the road? And like, because I didn't know him, like I denied him, and I'm like, nah, like I just have to get on the road.
Wah, wah, wah,
Because
wah,
he was also
wah.
like, even though he was my agent and everything, like he still kind of scared me. Like you just don't know people's intentions.
Denied.
Like I denied him, and he was like in this big truck. Like I'm like, yeah, right. If he's gonna kidnap me, like no one's gonna find me in this truck. So I said no, and then he was like, well, can I at least get your number to check on you to get home safe? So I'm like, sure.
Bam.
Right? I wouldn't jump in the car with him, but I gave him my number. So I'm like, whatever. I can always block him if he ends up being a weirdo. So then he got on the phone, stayed on the phone with me for like 2 hours to keep me up.
Dang.
Yeah. And then I thought, we were talking about this today. I thought it was like right after we started hanging out, but it wasn't. It was like 2-3 weeks before. I think he asked me to come to Orlando to hang out, and I just went. And I remember how crazy that was, because like he could have been a serial killer, and like I didn't know anything about him or anything like that, and I just still went to go chill with him. And it was the best day ever. It was very normal. Went to eat pizza. People bombarded him at the pizza place because the pizza maker went crazy that it was him. So it looked bad for him, because he was like, oh, I hate this type of stuff. We ordered like a medium pizza, and then like an extra large pizza came to the table. So I was like, it was an Italian place.
And so I'm thinking, she probably thinks I staged this to like look like this, like whatever professional wrestler. I'm like, man, I was like, this is the last thing I physically want. Like,
and the people behind us, like their kids were like making a scene that he was there. So I was like, I don't really care, because I'm a wrestler too, and I know what it's like. So I told them like it'd be different. I was a regular girl, maybe trying to gold dig or something like.
Yeah, but still, for me,
but
it was like I wanted
to be normal.
I wanted just to be normal. I just wanted you to see me as a person, not me as any other way, but just me as Wes.
Well, and I think you're pretty a low key guy too. For the most part, like, you're not a flashy guy about what you do in your life.
He was super embarrassed. I remember he like put his head down at the pizza place, but that was fine. Then after that, we went like to the bars and stuff. And I remember, I say it all the time, we went to the bar, to one of his friends' bars, and he introduces me, and he says, hey, so-and-so, Kenny, so this is Stephanie, this is the love of my life. This is our first date. Anybody else, I would have been like, oh, I'm never coming back after this. But I kid you not, it sounds like a fairy tale, but something in my heart, like when he said it, I was like, oh man, this feels right. It sounds so cheesy, but it did feel right. Like I didn't feel like any type of weird vibe that's what he had said. I think sometimes people have notions of like what the future will be. And then fast forward a year later, here we are.
There you are. I mean, I think as soon as you guys started dating, I think whenever me and him would talk and he would bring you up, it was wifey or something to that effect. So, I mean, yeah, I that's hilarious that you guys happen to have a first date.
Fast forward the question. You said, how was it him being a wrestler? It's great that he's in the business because he understands and blah, 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 that mediocre stuff that everyone wants to say. But truth be told, sorry, I had no idea who he was when the first time I saw him. I had no idea who he was. I only realized it only drew me to who he was because one show his dad showed up, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, that's Wes Brisco, Gerald Brisco's son." And then I looked at them, and they looked really alike. So I'm like, "Oh, it makes sense now." But if you just would have left him separate, like not with like standing next to his dad, obviously because of WWE and stuff, I would have never, like, even the last name didn't draw my attention. So like when I first started dating him, like I had no idea who he was or what he did. Hadn't seen any of his matches, but like the two shows that we were on, the same show, coincidentally. And it's funny because all the two shows that we were on, I had other boyfriends. So how funny, right? But it's great because he gives me a lot of advice, helps me out a lot. But to me, he's not a wrestler. He's just my
I
love bug. I've never seen him as like a wrestler, and he doesn't watch it. He hates he doesn't sit down with me to watch wrestling. He'll give me advice because I pressure him too. Like if I can't come to you, like who am I gonna come to? So he's forced to give me advice sometimes. But like he's like, I don't always want to talk about wrestling. So it's good because it forces us to be normal. Like when we come back home, like tell me everything when I pick you up from the airport, and then we don't have to talk about it after. And then we're just back to normal. So it's great because he understands everything and can help me, like, because my career is still just starting off. But he's a regular person.
Just starting off, your career is about to shoot.
That's what,
girl.
All right, well,
you're about to be a superstar.
It's about to blow up.
That's
funny because
hot in the kitchen.
Right. Me and Wes have been at this show for actually, as of this last weekend, it's been 2 official years. We've been the Brisco and Big Ace show. And, I have friends around who are wrestling fans that when they realize that I do the show with you, they've always, oh, man. And it's always, man, you guys must talk about so many cool wrestling things. And I was like, never. I'm more on the show. Like, we talk constantly. But never wrestling. Like we just talk like we're friends.
That's another big thing I love about the AEW locker room. Like you see these people, and like I've never been one to get starstruck, because I did do shows in the indies in my home school with a lot of like special guests. I mean, my debut show had Pope, Too Cold Scorpio, like Ron Simmons. So I was never one to like, but it's great to see that like you're in the same locker room with these people having lunch and catering with, and everyone's human. Like, right before you get in the ring, it's like we all bleed the same. So it's great. It's a great feeling.
So what are your wrestling roots then, Red Velvet? Like what got you into this?
I jokingly told my mom I was going to be a wrestler because my mom sews. So we started watching wrestling, and I fell in love with like when the Hardys saved Lita, and I was like, oh my God, there's this beautiful woman. She can wrestle for real. She's tattooed. That's so cool. So my mom made me like when she first debuted, she had like that red one piece or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My mom thought red was too explicit for like 9 years old. So she made me like a cute little blue one or whatever. And I wore it everywhere. And I told my mom, like, I remember one day looking in her eyes, I said, I'm going to be a wrestler one day. I kid you not, I was probably joking. And she was like, yeah, So I think it's funny how things come full circle because like I watched wrestling up until maybe like 6th grade, and then dance just became my life.
Right.
So I never watched wrestling ever again. Until 2015, I flipped the channel and I'm like, oh man, wrestling still exists. This is cool. And like WWE announced that Tough Enough tryout. Anyone can do it. You don't have to be a wrestler. Just submit your video, blah, blah, blah. And I had like gone through a breakup. So I went from like brown hair to like first time I ever really dyed my hair. And it was like red and I was feeling powerful. My friends were wrestling fans. So they're like, come do it in the backyard. Like we'll film it, blah, blah. He had like a really nice house. And then he was like, oh, I came up to him and he's like, so what's going to be your wrestling name? And I'm like, oh, Red Violet. And he's like, ew, what is that? And he's like, you look like a red velvet cake. Like your hair is really red right now. You have that beautiful chocolate skin. Like you're tiny. So maybe not a red velvet cake, maybe a cupcake, but like, let's go off of that. So I'm like, you know what? Like it sticks. So I followed through with that. And then it started picking up, And I said something I think the video's still on my YouTube page. If you guys go look, so embarrassing.
Oh, check it out.
Yeah, you put it. It's so embarrassing. But like, I remember saying like, that I know how to be on the road 365 days a week because I was in a dance company. My dad used to be a boxer. I did MMA, all these stuff. That horrible promo.
Wait, you did MMA as well?
Yeah, I did MMA from 12 to 15. I didn't proceed because I was so small. So they were having issues finding people to weigh in with me because it would have to be guys. And probably like I was 15, I would probably have to wrestle a 9-year-old boy who weighed the same as me. So it never really worked out. And I was just like, I did it more. My dad wanted me to do it more for like health and rape prevention if I ever got stuck in a situation where maybe, I was getting abused or something, self-defense.
For sure.
But yeah, I did a little bit of MMA, boxing. So I cut that promo, and then my friends wake me up one day and they had shown like the promo on SmackDown. So they were putting people's promos every like commercial, blah, blah, blah. And she like sent it to me. And then I got a call from the casting agent and I did like the first round of like Skype calls. And then I didn't make it on the show. But I'm like very like big. I'm not. I don't think my career. I think my career is what it is because I didn't make it on the show.
WWE missed out.
No, I wouldn't have changed it. I didn't know anything. You know, I'm grateful with the journey that I've had. And to me, not making it on the show, but seeing how big the response was from people, I think that it was my first video on YouTube and it got like, if I'm correct, I think now it's like 4,000 views. At the time, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I started searching and I'm like, let me just search for a wrestling school. And like that just opened up a can of worms. And then from 2015 till now, I haven't stopped. I can't wait. On a shot on the mic. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, she can talk. Trust me.
Yeah. I wish I could sing, but I can't.
That's everybody who can't sing. That's like the one talent everybody wishes they just had.
Yeah, I wish I could sing or maybe like rap.
I'm great at it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it. It's got to happen.
Nope.
What are you gonna sing?
Huh?
Can you sing like the guy you showed that video you showed me from the tiny desk guy? He was like standing on the desk crying, singing.
Yes, of course.
Let's hear it.
Go.
I want to hear the soul in you.
Do re mi fa
Love it.
sol.
Ooh.
My cat just left. Literally just walked away. Oh man. So that okay, let's get back to a little bit of the AEW stuff just because again you were talking about how that whole experience and what was it like the difference doing the Dark and the Dynamite though? Because that was cool too, because I knew you were doing Dark and everybody was pumped for you. And then I was watching Dynamite and then all of a sudden it was like, wait, she's on Dynamite.
And then the funny thing about that, she's like, I'm like, why are you making me download this app? I thought you were just going to be on YouTube. And she's like, no, download the app. I'm like, so now I had to download the TNT app. On the smart TV. I'm like, what's going on here? And then she's on there. I'm like, what?
The funniest part is that I had heard people like, oh, it's live. But I think I was just so zen that day that I didn't really have. That day was like full of a lot of stuff. So like there's times where I don't get to my phone and stuff like that. So I just like take my time in the locker room to like sit on my own and stuff like that. So I didn't really message anybody. I didn't tell anybody that day. And then the match came out and then I came back to the locker room and people were like, oh, you know, you have one match on Dark and you think you're a big star. You can't even tell us you were on TV, blah, blah, blah. And I had completely forgot that it was live. Oh. I didn't know it was live. So I'm like, all right, cool. They'll announce it and I'll let everybody know. And no, it's live, duh. But I guess because I was like thinking like, oh, Dark. And I don't know. It was just so fast. And so people are like, yeah, it's live. You know, we just saw you. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I was a little out of it that day, I guess. I forgot that it was live. So when people were like, oh, you didn't tell me. And I'm like, tell you what? And then they're like, you're on TV. I'm like, oh, damn. Okay, cool. You know, so it was short, but it's still a blessing. And like, you know, to be in there, even with the champ, like I'm not one to be bitter or anything about it. I told her, I called her out in her open challenge. Like, yeah, I might have lost the first one, but it's how you get up. And I'm ready for round 2. So Sheeta.
Right. There you go. Exactly. Plus, I mean, they could have used anybody and they chose you. So that speaks volume of what you're doing right now. So that's what's awesome. Exactly. Karaoke. Yes, Wes. Karaoke. Yeah, it's happening.
Karaoke.
No.
I love
karaoke. You didn't do it. And we've never done the karaoke at the Waterloo when we're out there. Everybody else does it.
I'm not going to do it.
Why?
I don't know. The pipes weren't like, yeah, they weren't.
Give him a drink and he'll do
You didn't go in the water. You didn't go surfing.
Okay, but we were there for what, like 2 hours, and then we went. My whole thing for that was I didn't want to smell like the ocean all night while I was at the show. Yeah. If I could have showered before we went to the show I would have done it.
Exactly. I can't like dry, and even like just like I put like sunblock and stuff. So just like imagine you go in the ocean, you come out, you can't rinse yourself, then you're dry, smelling like old sunscreen. Not a good
well, that's the other thing too is I have to cake that on, otherwise I look like the Kool-Aid guy. You know what I mean? Like it's bad. Like 10 minutes, and I'm just. So I will do it though. I said I will come back and I will attempt to surf. Just no shark or nothing.
I'm gonna take you to the sharkiest place in the world.
No, that's so horrible.
Oh, now I don't.
He wanted to teach me how to surf today, but I have a show tomorrow and Saturday.
Well, let's talk about.
So I didn't want to mess up my hair.
Yeah, no
Who
kidding.
are you wrestling tomorrow?
Okay, tomorrow, wrestling for Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling, and then I'll be going toe to toe with Miss Kelsey Reagan. So that's gonna be pretty cool. It's my first time getting in the ring with her, so you never know what to expect from people. But it's gonna be cool because it's like I've never gotten in there with her. She's never gotten in with me, so we definitely are gonna give the fans a show. And Saturday I'll be flying up to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Kickstart My Heart Wrestling, and then I have a match with Insidious, and I'm very excited about that one too because Insidious, yeah, she's scary.
It's a hard name.
Yeah, like the movie. She's really scary, but she's a great wrestler.
Have you wrestled her before? Or you just
have not
watched film on her. And
I've watched her work, and I was with her in the previous show. We were actually roommates because I was not competing against her at the time, so we were roommates. I got to learn a lot about her.
You got some insight, so you can whoop that ass.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fair match. Like it's like she's very fair and everything, so it's like I don't think she's going in there with intentions to cheat. I think she really wants to take out the best of me, and I want to take out the best of her. So I'm looking forward to that. And I watched her since we were on the same show last time. I watched her matches and stuff like that, and just her persona and her character. I think she's underrated. I think big companies need to take a look at her because she's.
So I heard they're picking you up in a limo.
Yeah, they're picking us up in a limo.
Bad and bougie.
Minnesota's repping. So, have you been up here before with this company?
Yeah, I was up there way before COVID. I'm trying to think of the date, but I'm not sure. But I've only been up there with them once. First time it was a 3-on-3 elimination style tag. So it was 3 girls versus 3 guys, and the girls won. Duh. Yeah. But then they put a title on the line, and then I had to fucking. Sorry.
That's all right. We get one.
You're
allowed
one.
Woo,
got it out. Okay, so I had to. It was me and my 3 partners, and then they just popped out that it was for an intergender title. So I looked at my partner, and we were the only 2 left. So I kicked her, and I tried to finish her off, but she finished me off first, and she won the title. So good for her, Notorious Mimi.
Yeah. So where in Minneapolis is this? In Minneapolis or just the Twin Cities area?
I think it's in.
How far from?
It's
the
Minnesota,
airport?
Minneapolis. Yeah.
How far? Yeah. How far from the airport?
I don't know that. I would.
If it's downtown, you're 20 minutes out, probably.
No, it's a different venue.
It's a different venue.
Been, yeah.
Do you know the name of the venue? No.
You know the name of.
I should have looked.
I'll look it up. Let me give you the deets because.
So
don't kill me, dog.
No, that way you can promote it.
Of course.
That way we can get some people to go if it's not sold out yet.
Yeah, because we'll definitely have some Minnesota people watching right now.
Absolutely.
The other thing is I want to know because I didn't even know this was happening, and I've got nothing going on this weekend.
Yeah, you should come. Okay, so I know Dual Citizen Brewing Company is a sponsor. That might be where the show's at. Let me get you the flyer so I can.
Yeah, let's go to the flyer. But yeah, and then I'm wrestling.
Yeah, you got a big one coming up.
Yes, it's at the Dual Citizen Brewing Company, 725 Raymond Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota 55114.
St. Paul, perfect.
Masks are required and social distancing, but they still have tickets, so you guys can go.
What's the brewery called again?
The brewery Dual Citizen Brewing Company.
Nice. I don't know if that John Russell who is watching still, my boy JR, we do our Tuesday night show. If you're still watching, you text me when I'm done with this and let me know if you're around and we're going.
Yeah.
If not, I'm gonna grab a couple tickets. I'll be there for sure on Saturday.
Nice.
I need to get out of the house. It's been too long. I was actually excited because I'm going to a show in 2 weeks around here, and I was pumped for that. But now that I know this is happening, I'm like, yes. Couple weeks of energy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so good that as long as everyone abides by the rules, people need to get out and because I mean
they're really big on enforcing it. So they're doing it so that everyone can enjoy wrestling. So they're gonna be at our merch table, we have masks for us, hand sanitizer, gloves. So that's gonna be great.
But
Awesome.
it's like everyone's been so depressed. Everyone's been so just confined, and for everyone just to be able to get out, not even just the wrestlers, the fans, the people that set up the ring, just everybody. When you look into their eyes, I remember doing the first Atomic show, and everybody was just
so amped
and like just feeling just that little bit of being normal again. I think means the world,
and it keeps you from going madman, or it keeps you sane. Like if I didn't have these shows, like it'd be depressing. So I'm grateful that there's people. Not everyone wants to open up right now, but the ones that are opening up, whenever they ask me, like, I make it my priority to go, because it's not only for me, but for the fans. Like, it's been tough.
Yeah, it definitely has been. Like I said, I haven't been doing anything since basically being sent home from work in March and being told I'm working from home. This is where I've lived. So this will be my first venture out now. So I'm very excited. So, and it'll be great to actually physically be like in front of you and be like, hi.
Yes.
Hello. So that'll be a good time too. So I'll definitely be up there this weekend now that I know that's happening. Wes, let's get back into what you were about to say though, because you have a big match on the same show for tomorrow with Atomic. And that's you and Shannon Moore, Garrett Bischoff, special guest ref. Will there be foolery? Will there not be?
Yeah, for the heavyweight championship.
Yeah,
for the title. Tie me up some more to stop me from going ringside for that.
No kidding. Garrett, don't do anything crazy. She's gonna get you to do.
Garrett.
Tomorrow's gonna be crazy. We're gonna.
I'm scared.
It's gonna be one of the toughest battles I think I'm gonna have to face. And
you guys we're friends.
We're friends, but not no more. I mean, like.
Yeah, Shannon.
That was just disrespectful, and some of the comments and promos he's done has been disrespectful, and just him outright taking.
Like he should have been a man about it. Like he was so sneaky about it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I would have gave him a title shot any day of the week, and I'm the type of guy that I'll give anybody a chance. I'm not scared to wrestle anybody. So I would have gave him a title shot. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to go out of his way and be so sneaky and conniving and just evil.
Yeah.
But I guess some people are like that, because I would have gave him an open challenge anytime, anywhere. I'd put the title up anytime because we were boys, but now we're no longer friends. Now we're enemies. And I would never want to say that upon any man that I was friends with. But now.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's why I want to come out ringside, because I don't trust Garrett either.
Yeah, I agree. If I was there, I'd be sitting there ready to go. Be pulling someone's leg if they get involved. But no, man, it's going to be a good match. I know you're going to come out on top. You're going to give it your all. So that's what matters. But yeah, that's a stacked show, by the way. Anybody watching? It's sold out show now.
Yep, sold out.
Okay. It's been sold out for
a while. I think like a week.
A week.
Yeah.
So big shout out to everybody down in Florida, down in that Orlando area, Cocoa area that's going to the Atomic shows. And big shout out to Atomic Atomic is killing the game right now. You guys are just killing it. I see EC3.
Steph has a match on tonight. If you go to Atomic's,
go to their YouTube page.
Oh yeah, Atomic's YouTube TV. Yeah, I've been watching. It's awesome.
Go to their page tonight, and Red Velvett has a great match where she whoops him.
Yes. It was me against La Brava, and she gave me a heck of a fight. So I'm not gonna be a grouch. I won it, but she gave me a fight. So big ups to her. She's very talented. That's another one.
You gotta keep your eye on. Wait till you see line that she does.
It was a running knee in the corner.
Running knee in the corner. She was out of the ring.
Dude, I came in like I didn't expect. Maybe I didn't notice like that. Like the ropes are like shorter in that ring. So I ran full force at her with a running knee, and when I kicked her in the face, I came with so much force. I actually front flipped up and over the ropes. And out of the ring, and I landed on my feet, so I was like,
crazy. Everyone was like, "What?
That's
insane."
That's just all you hear after that is that. Da-da-da.
Yes, I wish I could do that for every show, but those are the things that like just happen unexpectedly. I literally like it's just a running knee, but I came with so much force that like if I can land it every time, that'd be dope. But I don't think so. I think
That's amazing. I'm gonna watch that when we get off this tonight, so that's gonna be awesome. And again, it's a huge show, so everybody check it out. I'm sure they'll make some stuff for their YouTube out of the show tomorrow night. Since you can't go, too bad they don't stream it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I would be watching then. And then Saturday night, Minneapolis, Minnesota, or St. Paul, Minnesota. Check out Red Velvet at that show as well. Sorry that I don't remember the name of the promotion. What is it?
Kickstart My Heart Wrestling.
Kickstart My Heart, Motley Crue style, going down Saturday, and I'm gonna come up and check that show out. I cannot wait. I'm gonna buy tickets tonight. Nick, our boy Nick, apparently had COVID and beat it. So awesome for beating it, man. I hope you're taking care. I wanted to throw this one up too, just so Wes, you can see it as well. Nick and Chris, they're our boys, man. But Nick also wrote a nice little note for us. And guys, we really do appreciate everyone that comes on to our shows and watches and listens and downloads. A big shout out to VOC Nation, the only place you can get the audio version of our show. So shout out to them, VOC Nation, Radio Nation. But yeah, man, I mean, first of all, I'm just hanging out and hanging out with Wes. So, but Wes has always been great with his fans. That's well known. But man, we just appreciate everybody hanging out with us. So if you can, if it's not too much to ask, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Very cool things going on. More cool things coming. We got surfing, wrestling, fishing, cooking, which has been my favorite so far. There's even a vlog from my trip there a year ago. And there's going to be a lot more stuff coming on to that. So again, please subscribe, please share it with everybody. We appreciate the love. We want to keep hanging out with everybody and just giving you guys some fun stuff to hang out with. So
even for the fans, we're gonna do a little something. We're gonna shoot like our day on the day of the show, just so you guys can see like what we go through. Like, you know, fans always want to get a little more insight on just not you in and out of the ring. So we're gonna be doing that. Sometimes I told him I want to do us cooking. He's the cook. Yes. I'm the baker.
Yeah, but she helps.
I helps. I do the dishes. So at least
no, like she helps in other ways. Like because our kitchen's small right now, and I'm like doing 100 things. So I'll ask her to like cut something or hand me something, or like because like she knows like I'm like constantly like.
He's the cook. I give it.
What did I make? I made her lobster
pasta.
What?
Yesterday. So amazing. And it's funny because I'm not a steak person. So like when I looked over, he had this huge, is that a T-bone?
Yes.
It was a huge T-bone steak. And I'm not like a fan of steak.
She hates steak.
Hate is a big word. I'm not the biggest, like, you know, I don't really do steak. I do more like grilled chicken and like a lot of seafood. So yesterday, like we were eating and I was like eating the lobster. And then like I looked over and the steak looked really good. So I'm like, I put like my fork in it and like I had some and then it was really good. So like I must have ate almost like half of it. So I thought it was funny because like I never intended for that to happen, but it was great. He cooked it well. He's definitely like the cook in the family. He can't touch me with desserts because I'm a baker. I made a bomb.
And she's sweet.
Yeah, I made a bomb funfetti cake for my sister for her 30th birthday. She didn't want red velvet, and sometimes like I said, when I'm home, I want to be normal. So I made her a funfetti cake. And that's something I'm also going to put on my YouTube page, a day in the life of Red Velvet, because I was back home taking care of my family when they had COVID. So I did a whole thing of like what my day is like that day. And we came up with like, I got my sister a bounce house because she can have a birthday party. It's not a birthday party, like she's so little. She's 30, but you know, we couldn't really do anything with our friends. So I like rented her a bounce house and that's all going to be in the video and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. And we'll definitely share all that when you get that up there. Everybody go find Red Velvet's YouTube channel. Subscribe to that one as well.
Subscribe to his, subscribe to you guys.
Yes. Tina, thanks for hanging out. Mr. JR, I hope you're saying looking forward to it, meaning you're coming with me on Saturday. He's already up in the Twin Cities, so I'll pick you up. Nick, oh look, he said he lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks.
Ready for open challenge?
Ready for the open challenge. This is usually when we end, but let's end on that note. What's up, Cody? You're looking for people. I think you're just afraid you're going to lose, but Mr. Brisco needs to come through AEW.
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
just we need throwing that out there. I don't know if you want to say anything, Wes, but
I'm putting it out there for the fans. Like, they've been really big on listening to what the fans want. So, which, last night he had his match with Warhorse, and that was really big on Twitter. So they're obviously listening. Don't think that they're not listening. So if you guys want Wes out there, put it out there on Twitter, social media, tag Tony, tag all of them. You guys have a voice. So whatever you want to see, whether it's me, him, or AEW, like, say it. And yeah, I think Cody, you totally need to put him on your open challenge.
I mean, Cody, if you want to actually wrestle a real man, I mean, someone that's actually your height, someone that's maybe bigger or maybe a little bit stronger. And yeah, you got some amateur wrestling background, but don't forget, I got amateur wrestling background. And don't forget, our dads wrestled with each other. Our dads were tag team partners with each other. We have a long, long history. And don't deny that, and don't throw that away.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, in a world that we're in now, I think we need some more of that old school rivalry continuing. And yeah, I think, Cody, you definitely need to give Mr. Brisco a shot. Everybody watching, listening, and hears this, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, get on YouTube, anything and everything. Just Wes needs the shot. I don't even know. Hashtag Wes, give Wes a shot.
Yeah, Wes. And then you guys have to tag the owners. You got to tag Cody. Because if not, they're never going to see it. They have thousands of followers. So if you want your voice heard, you got to put Wes versus Cody, and you got to tag Cody, and you got to tag Tony, and make it happen. It can happen. You guys are the fans. Call it.
That's right. Yeah, man. That's right. We're going to get that thing going. We're going to get you that shot. But I got to say, I've had a horrible week leading into today. It's been just a rough week overall in just life. So this has been nothing but a great time to get my mind off other things. So I have to thank you, Wes, you, Miss Red Velvet, for just hanging out with me tonight.
You're my brother. What are you talking
I know, but I feel I need to say, like, I really needed this tonight.
This is our date night, and I brought my wifey up in here.
That's right. So again, I'm going to see you on Saturday, Red Velvet.
Cool. For you and your friend there. So I'll get
it might just be me. I totally forgot. He commented, I'm not going to put it up, but he's having surgery on Friday, so he won't be able to come.
Recovery to him.
Yeah, he's getting some stuff done on his back, but he'll be back. But yeah, I will be up there, and good luck to both of you tomorrow night. Big show going on there. So yeah, man. And Wes, we'll be back. We're going to have to make up our anniversary show because we had some pretty high hopes for that one. And then with my surgery and everything and just going on, we kind of didn't get to do what we had initially were hoping to do and make a big deal out of it. So we'll do that just a little bit later.
Yeah.
That sound right? Yeah. So yeah, man, and I have to say, as we leave, it is weird that we had no Hall of Fame this year. It was just really weird knowing that would have been this last weekend.
And Red was
supposed to be.
Oh, were you gonna? Oh my gosh, you would have loved it. It's such a great weekend. But yeah, it's just really weird having there, and that just such a big hit for that weekend to not happen. Losing Zach from Shotgun Wrestling, who's they're a big part of that weekend too. That's been a big one this year. So it was rough to not be able to go and pay our respects to him together. So yeah, but next year it's going to be bigger, better, and just amazing. So we'll all be there then. But yeah, man, you guys have a good night. I didn't mean to jump on you, but yeah, have a good night, guys. And again, good luck tomorrow. And we'll be back hopefully next week with our next episode of the Brisco and Big Ace show.
Yeah.
Yep. Love you guys. Peace.
Thank you for watching.
Happiness.
Thanks for having us.